All right, hello everyone. This is Laynie Cronin from Blackburn Energy, and I'm really excited here to have Blackburn's first ever brand ambassador, Jacinda Duran of Jacinda Lady Truckin'. Hey, Jacinda.
Hello, how are you, Lainey? Thanks for having me on.
Oh no, I'm really happy to. So part of what we're doing at Blackburn Energy is promoting this new ebook that we have on our website, and the title of it is let's see, a new paradigm for driver retention, how hybrid charging can improve driver retention and profitability for fleets. So today I just wanted to talk with Jacinda and about a little bit about your experience as a driver and what you feel like having more available electric power in your cab, on your truck would help support your health and well-being on the road.
Absolutely. The electric systems, first thing that comes to mind is my health by far, eliminating the fumes that come off, the truck, the exhaust, or even the generators that are provided. A lot of us are, given carbon monoxide, detectors, but still, even at mild forms on a regular basis, we're consuming and it's building, in our bodies. So the electric systems would definitely help with that. And also the reliability factor, when the batteries do run out at some point. Mm-hmm. So health, efficiency, and there's been studies done, even, proven, the side effects or health effects of carbon monoxide. So the electrical systems or electrifying systems could definitely, I would say, nearly eliminate that to an extent.
Yeah. Yeah, because one of the things that we're trying to think more intensely about at Blackburn is how, because we know that driver retention issues plague the industry, that the driver turnover rate is extremely high and every fleet deals with this problem. So one of the things that we're arguing at Blackburn is that by using hybrid charging, it's a win-win solution. You're able to give your driver more electric power for more amenities within their sleeper cabs, while also reducing your fuel costs. So as a driver and someone who lives, you are always living on the road, what kinds of things, would you feel like would help support, driver health and wellness while you're driving?
Well, retention is always an issue on road, obviously, because that's the pain factor. Next to our health and the pay factor, I think something they should consider is that maybe funds or money that they're putting out towards the idling could be shifted over towards maybe even more retention pay, including health and wellness of the drivers. Say we're idling for 10 hours. That could be the $200-$300, for example, that they could be actually giving the driver in retention pay, also having the electric system. So it's a win-win for everyone in that situation.
Yeah. Yep. And that's exactly what we're trying to say.
Yeah. And it makes sense. You're saving here. Okay. Well, now transfer over that money. I would say you're willing to pay out to have the truck idling to the driver for, patiently and comfortably waiting there. So you're reassured by your health. You have the amenities you need, and also you're getting paid. So it's a complete win. And I would say that brings down people's stress level. Okay, I'm okay here because I have everything I need and I'm not losing out on anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what do you feel that you wish, is there something that you wish that fleet managers or fleet owners better understood about, the driver's life on the road?
I think one of the health-wise exactly is I would say sleep. Okay. Mm-hmm. We can eat, cook, microwave, charge, but rest is super important. And with rest comes comfort. If I know my system is working, my heating, my air conditioning, the food I need to eat, it's all factored, into resting. Your body works more properly. Your brain functions more properly. You're just healthy overall. You don't have the fumes. So there's a lot of, only wins, to having, electric charging systems on our trucks.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to back up, so this is my first time doing something like this. But just to back up, our hybrid charging system is called RelGen. And what we do is we take power, we harvest clean energy from the spinning drive shaft and then use it to power the auxiliary batteries. So what our system RelGen does is that it gives you, so when the driver stops driving and is in there during the rest period, they have all the power that they need to run a refrigerator, a crock pot, Wi-Fi, AC, heat, all off the engine alternator. So they don't need to run the engine or idle for any power. It's just all of that, all of the clean energy that was generated while you were driving is now you're able to use it during your rest periods. So just wanted to make that clear for our listeners.
And it absolutely makes sense because we're utilizing every energy that we have. So I think it's a brilliant idea. You know, it's making energy regardless. And so to be able to channel it in a positive, get it, positive charging way.
Yeah, exactly.
to use, it's not even reusing. You're actually, you know, using it to use it. There's no waste in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've heard that when we interviewed another driver that uses our system in another video, and he said he was really happy because he has an electric APU that's powered by RelGen, but he was saying that it's also very quiet. He was saying that the diesel APUs that he was using before were very loud, and that would also interfere with his sleep.
Absolutely. And some of the smaller, the APU, even though you think they're smaller because they're less space, they're actually louder because you have a shorter exhaust from it, which actually makes it louder. So absolutely, there again, no disruption. Let's, you know, park next to someone in your comfortability. And I feel as drivers, when we feel valued in all of the aspects that make us a healthy human being are taken into consideration, you're going to get more from your drivers in return. Right? I feel you care about me. You're making sure I'm comfortable. I'm healthy. I'm going to give you even more, you know, than I possibly did before.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to argue in this ebook, is that, you know, again, to reiterate, it is a win-win solution. So for fleet managers and, you know, fleet owners, we're lowering your overall fuel and maintenance costs while elevating the available power that a driver has to support themselves while they're living on the road. So I think it's really something that both drivers and fleet managers, fleet owners can get together on to help sort of deal with this, you know, this perennial problem of driver turnover that plagues the industry. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about is you described once a episode you had where you had DPF, because that's the other thing that we're doing with reducing the maintenance costs is that we're reducing, you know, the strain on the diesel particulate filter, and which, you know, becomes a big cost if idling time affects that. So can you just describe your experience?
Well, absolutely. There was a company that I had worked for that in being connected to a computer, you know, that reads my engine hour time, 33% was idle time of my complete engine life. And I had come across two DPF issues of going into derate. And derate is where your system just can't clean out and your truck won't run anymore because it can't breathe, basically is what it boils down to. So it would save a lot on those systems because there's only so much they can take. And a regen, you know, that I explained a little bit earlier is, you know, your truck firing up, heating up to an extreme temperature to burn the soot off the system. And that's something it should do on its own, but it doesn't always do that. So having electric power could almost delete, you know, that idle time. If you can get down to it, maybe 5 to 10%, even from 33% of idle time. And those are expensive systems. Again, in relation to what you would put in an electrical system to what a filter could cost you every year or two, again, you know, exceeds all the benefits in it. So idle time is huge. It kills our engines because the exhaust is still building, the soot is still building, you know, the output of the engine and the oils and things. So having an electrical system could also, you know, save your DPF system for an extended amount of time. Surely.
Yep.
And, you know, even say, for example, when we're idling, people sometimes think because they high idle at night, right?
Mhm.
So when people are using their engines and they're idling at night, they raise it up a little, maybe, 10,000, 12,000 RPM, 9 to 12,000, I'd say, to keep the motor at a higher temperature, to keep the exhaust flowing. Something else you could eliminate. So the idle time will kill our engines a lot faster, with or without DPF, either way. So that's something I think it's important. Newer trucks, older trucks, having an electrical system would save overall. And in targeting owner operators, people who own older trucks, super important for them to understand they like that older truck. Get an electrical system. It'll last you even 10 years longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's extending the life of your truck, your health, just your overall being.
Yeah. And I think, that's where, I mean, you're connecting two things that you normally think of as separate, the equipment and the technology, but this technology gives the driver and also the fleet manager so much more to work with. So I think it's really, that's what we're trying to do at Blackburn Energy, is bring a clean tech solution that is not just clean tech for clean tech's sake, but it's actually doing much more than that. It's improving the life of the driver on the road, and also, helping the fleet manager and fleet owner save money that could, they could invest back into their fleet in other ways, or take a vacation, it's just boosting the profit margins.
There's a lot, you can save. So I think what's really important is for people not to overlook the now. Look at the future, 10 to 12 years. What is an average truck life on a fleet? What, 3 to 5 years given, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if we could double that and get an extended pay to where maybe one day they could even own the truck. Now they're looking to own the trucks because they know the maintenance failure is not going to come as quick. Yeah. And I think a lot of the turnover in fleets, 3 to 5 years, 2 to 5 years of owning a brand new truck, the DPF, they know stuff is going to start to happen. So if they can look at that investment now, they could actually keep those trucks to maybe where they could actually own them because they're sustaining the life of the engines.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think, is there anything that I didn't ask you today that you think would be helpful to share with our listeners?
I think that people need to be aware of the evolution of trucking. We want trucking. We need trucking. And everything in trucking is going to evolve. It's a matter of time until, I don't know if we'll be here, but when electric trucks are what it is. So instead of looking at or being defiant, look at it as even prolonging the time that we have to truck the way we want to now.
Yeah.
So if you can slow down that process and protect the environment and your health and your engine altogether, you'll be able to remain more trucking the way you like at this point. Instead of looking, do you see what I mean? People are fighting the new wave. Well, let's slow it down by doing what we can do to help ourselves, the environment, and and the fleets. Does that mean, to sustain it?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm most proud of. In terms of Blackburn Energy, is that because I do feel there's a lot of market hype around full electric or hydrogen trucks, but some of the biggest companies that are in this space, like Cummins Inc. or even I was reading a report from Columbia University Center for Global Energy Policy, and they were talking about that diesel trucking really is here to stay until at least the middle of the century, 2040, 2050. So I think sometimes the conversation around clean tech or electrification is almost entirely too dominated by the market sort of craziness around what's coming out with electric trucks, because the reality, trucking is so huge and our economy around trucking is so enormous that it's going to really take a long time for electric trucks to fully penetrate this sector of the economy in the way that we would need.
It's not going to be one swipe and the diesel truck is gone. It's a part of it. So
Yeah,
again,
exactly.
We can do now to even prolong that. Say I have 30 years left of trucking. Okay, well maybe I can get 40 if I use, when I'm using Blackburn and RelGen, it'll sustain it. So really emphasizing on that, that's, what I feel we're trying to relate to people is slow down the process by doing these small, big things with Blackburn
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't need like, fleets don't need, that I know that, a lot of fleets want to achieve sustainability faster, but they're thinking, oh, electric trucks are eventually going to come down the pipeline. And when they're affordable, I'll actually buy one. But what we're saying is, no, there's a solution now that is meeting the industry where it's at. You can give your driver more power in their cabs so that they're happier, they're healthier, hopefully reduce your driver turnover. And then you're also reducing your fuel costs, which translates into reducing your emissions. So it's really, what we're saying in this ebook, which I hope everyone will go check out on our website. It's at blackburnenergy.com, and our ebook is called "A New Paradigm for Driver Retention: How Hybrid Charging Can Improve Profitability." So we invite you all to download that, and if you have any comments or feedback, we'd really love to hear from you. So
absolutely. So let's evolve together. That's what we need to share, and keep providing the resources that we are. The more education, the more open people will be.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Jacinda. And we're really excited. You're going to be having our system having RelGen on your trucks, and you can be reporting from the field how it's working for you. And we're really excited for that new opportunity. So everyone should stay tuned for all
that. Live RelGen, it's coming. Okay, so yes, I'm sharing that. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jacinda.